All right, in this video, we'll be going over the Unit 4 Unit 4 test review part 1. So here we go. All right, feel free to follow along with me if you would like to. All right, first thing we got to do is graph this equation that is not in the form that we're used to. Remember the form we're used to, it needs to be in y is equal to, I'm making this up, 3x plus 4. All right, so that obviously is not in that setup, so we need to move some things. So over here, we got to move the 3x over in this direction, move it over here. So move 3x over there, so we're at negative 4y is equal to negative 3x minus 4. Now we're going to divide by negative 4, and lastly divide by negative 4, and I'm left with y is equal to positive 3 over 4x plus 1. So remember, when you're graphing this thing, you always start at the plus 1, which puts it right here. You're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you are going to connect your dots. There you go. All right. Next one is this one, and we're going to go ahead and take this 7. We're going to move it over, so that's minus 7, minus 7. At this point in time, you should know exactly what you're doing, so going a little faster would be okay. Divide by negative 2. I'm just going to write it like this. So y is equal to positive 7 over 2x plus 5. All right, so we put at plus 5, that's where I'm starting from. However, if I go up 7, I'm off my graph. So I'm going to take my slope and do the exact opposite. So that's going to be negative 7, negative 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, there we are, and draw your line. All right, next one is we're going to take this take this line and convert it back to a y equals mx plus b. Um, so remember, it's going to be y is equal to something x plus something. I'm starting at negative 1, so that's going to be minus 1. I'm going to go up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's going to be 1/5. So my final answer is going to be y is equal to 1/5 x minus 1. All right. Same thing for question number 4. I'm starting at positive 4, so it's going to be y is equal to something x plus 4. And I'm just going to find two spots. There it is. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's going to be, I went down 8, and then 1, 2, 3. I went over 3. There's my answer. All right, so we're going to go ahead and graph. So again, starting at negative 2, and I'm going to go up 1 over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. Draw my line, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it. Actually, technically, with this being this sign, it should be a dotted line. And so, and then next thing I need to do is I need to shade accordingly. So I'm going to just choose a point that's not on the line, which I always choose 0, 0. So I'm going to take x, plug a 0, y, plug in the 0, and see if it makes a true statement. Is 0 greater than negative 1, or than 1/4 times 0 minus 2? So that'd be 0 is that a true statement? The answer is no, it's not a true statement. So that means I'm going to be shading down, like so. All right. Now for question number 6, there would already be, if you look at your paper, there's already lines there. I just didn't put the lines on for this video I'm about to. Starting at negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Not drawing accordingly or perfectly. Starting at 3, and then we're going down 1. So it's going to look something like this. And so if you remember, you have 4 sections to this. You have this section, you have this section, you have this section, and then lastly you have this section. One of those 4 will be highlighted, and you got to tell which one. Now, I already have the answer, and I believe the answer is going to be the yellow section. So I'm just going to show you exactly why it's the yellow section. So I'm just going to choose this point right here. So this is 2, 0. So I'm going to put a 2 in for x, put a 0 in for y. So 0 less than 4 times 2 minus 2. Does that make a true statement? The answer is yes, it does. All right. So now I'm going to do it for the bottom section, because remember, it has to be a true statement for both of them. So that'll be 0 is less than Negative 2 plus 3. Does that make a true statement? Yes, it does. Because if I simplify, that would be positive 1. So that is a true statement. So that means yellow is my section that I would color in. So there we go. All right. All right, question number 7, solve each system by graphing. Now, since both 7 and 8 are exactly the same, I'm just going to go ahead and solve for 7 and give you the answers for 8. So first off, I got to graph this top equation, which is plus 2, going down 1 over 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to draw my line. And then I'm at negative 2, and I'm going to drop, let's see, negative 5, 1, 2, oop, I'm off the graph, so I got to reverse everything. So originally it was negative 5 over 3, but I got to reverse my slope, so it'll be positive 5 over negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3. I believe my answer is right there. So where the graphs intersect, that's my answer, which is going to be negative 3, positive 3. All right. Okay, for the next question, you do it the exact same way. And again, just to keep from having to explain everything and making this video longer than it should be, where the two lines intersect would be negative 2, negative 3. And if you need help on that, please make sure you ask while you're in class. All right, so next question is question number, uh-oh, a couple things got moved here. All right, so question number 9. All right, so now we're going into the basic algebra portion of this, where first thing I need to do, I always need to get my variable off to the left-hand side. So I need to subtract 7, subtract 7. I'll get n over 2 is equal to positive 3. But then, of course, I have this divide by 2, and I got to multiply by 2 to cancel it. So when I multiply one side by 2, multiply the next side by 2, and that gets n is equal to 6. All right, next question here. Again, when you're doing parentheses, we need to distribute inside the parentheses. We get 28x plus 14 is equal to 126. I'm going to subtract 14, and I'm left with 28x is equal to, let's see, that looks like 112. Then I divide by 28, and I get x is equal to 4. Right. Question number 11, I put a lot of p's on here just to make sure that you know how to combine like terms. So I'm going to take this 2, distribute here, distribute here. So my next step is 3p plus 4 minus 6p is equal to negative 12 minus p. All right, so remember, like I said, your goal is to get the variable all by itself and everything else on the other side, like that format. So I always like to take all my letters, put it on one side, preferably the left-hand side, and then take all my numbers, throw it on the right-hand side. So first off, like, for example, this positive 4, I'm going to throw this over here by subtracting 4. But this p all by itself, this negative p, I'm going to throw it over here, which means I got to add a p. So add p, add p. All right, so this will cancel out, and this will cancel out. So as you can see what I'm left with my letters, I have a 3p here, a negative 6p here, and a plus p here. And for my numbers, I got a negative 12 and a negative 4. All right, so when I add everything on the left-hand side, I believe, and I'm going to have to write everything over here. Let's see, 3 minus 6 plus 1, let's see, I believe that's going to be negative 2p is equal to negative 12 minus 4 would give me negative 16. So I divide by negative 2, and I get p is equal to positive 8 for question number 11. All right. So same concept for question number 12. All right, let me kind of clean this up a little bit. And of course, if you need to see the work, just review the video again or rewind. Again, parenthesis, got to distribute it. So that's 14 minus x is equal to negative 40 plus 25x minus 8. All right. Now, again, minus 8x. Okay. Now, because of the fact that I have more x's on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side, I'm just going to take this x, I'm going to add x to it to cancel it out and put it over here, which means I got to take this 40, bring it over here by adding 40, adding 40. So that cancels that out. So you can see everything that's left on the right-hand side. When I add 14 and 40, I get 54 is equal to 25 minus x plus that. So it looks like it's going to be, let's see, 25 minus, I think it might be 18x. I'm sure, and which, when I divide by 18, x is equal to 3. There we go. All right. Now, the way that I set up questions 13, 14, the rest of the worksheet, I basically said this question is exactly like that question. So I'm going to solve question 13 and just give you the answer to 14. All right. So let me go ahead and clean this up. Now, remember, what you're doing is when you are solving for x and y, something needs to be canceled out. So if you notice for question 13, when I add everything, the y's are going to cancel out. So goodbye, y's. So now we're at 2x is equal to, that is negative 2, positive 2, sorry, is equal to positive 2. And then I would simply divide by 2, x is equal to 1. So I'm just going to write this over here just for space. Now, once I know that x is equal to 1, then I go back to the original equation. All right, so when I go back to the original equation, I decide, do I want to deal with the top equation or the bottom equation? Well, I like the top equation because there's not as many negative numbers. So I'm going to take this 1 and plug it in for x. So that's 5 times 1 plus 2y is equal to negative 13. Well, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2y is equal to negative 13. I'm going to subtract 5, subtract 5. This will cancel out, and I'll get 2y is equal to negative 18. And then I would simply divide by 2. And the bell's going to ring. We're just going to keep going. So y is equal to 9. So my answer is x is equal to 1, y is equal to 9. And you'd write it in that format. So for question 14, again, like I said, 13 and 14 are exactly the same. Question 14, the answer is negative 3, negative 6. All right. So down for 15. So for question 15, I specifically made it to where you have to multiply something by one of the two equations. Now, if you spent more than 5 minutes in this class, you should know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to multiply, and I always like canceling out the x's first. It's just a habit. I'm going to multiply the bottom by 2 because when I multiply the bottom by 2, that negative 14 and that 7 would eventually match. So I'm just going to rewrite my top equation. My bottom equation is positive 14x minus 2y. Remember, you got to take the 2 to everything. Some of you guys aren't doing that, which obviously is causing you to mess up. So I'm going to add everything. The 14, or the x's cancel out. That turns into 4y is equal to 12. Y is equal to 3. Okay? Now that y is equal to 3, and again, I'm just going to write it over here just for saving space. All right, let me clean everything up. What formula looks the easiest? I think the bottom one looks the easiest. So I'm going to take 3, I'm going to plug it right there. So that turns into 7x minus 3 is equal to 11. Well, add 3, I get 7x is equal to 14, x is equal to 2. There's my answer. So my final answer is going to be 2, 3. Very, very simple. Now for question 16, I told you I wasn't going to do question 16. However, I'm just going to go ahead and set the problem up. So again, like I always like, I just always like canceling out x's. So if that's a negative 2x and that's just a negative x, I bet you I could just multiply the top by negative 2 because we've got to make that positive. So I'm going to multiply this by negative 2 and distribute, distribute, distribute. So that ends up being positive 2x plus 2y is equal to 14 over negative 2x minus 3y is equal to, I think that was 24, maybe. I wrote over it, so it's hard for me to see. Yep. So, and then you would cancel out that way. So when you do the math, the correct answer for question number 16 will eventually give you 3, negative 10. All right? So question 17. Now, question 17 and 18, I specifically put that on there because you would have to multiply the top and bottom by a number. And I always like to do the old switcheroo. So I'm going to multiply the top by positive 5, and I'm going to multiply the bottom by 2. However, notice how both 2 and 5 are. Both 2 and 5 are positive, which means something's got to be negative. So I'm just going to multiply the bottom by negative 2 just so something will cancel out. So again, I'm going to take my 5, distribute to all that. I get 10x plus 25y is equal to 45. And that will become negative 10x minus 12y is equal to negative 32. All right, when I add, my x's cancel out as planned. So 13y is equal to 13, y is equal to 1. Okay, y is equal to 1. Let me just write it over here again, just out of the way. So now, again, I choose which equation do I want to work with. I want to work with the top one that's got smaller numbers. So I'm going to take my 1, plug it right there. So that's going to be 2x plus 5 times 1 equals 9. 2x plus 5 equals 9. Subtract 5, subtract 5. I'm left with 2x is equal to 4. Divide by 2, and I get x is equal to 2. So my final answer is 2, 1. All right. Now, for question number 18, if you notice, my first x is positive, my second x is negative, so when I do the old switcheroo, all I have to do is just multiply by positive numbers. So I want to multiply the top by 8, the bottom by 5. So it'll be 40x plus 24y is equal to, 18 times 8. I want to say that's negative 144. Don't quote me on that. My next equation is negative 40x minus 40y is equal to 5 times 0, which is 0. So that's how I would set it up, and the final answer is going to be negative 9, positive 9. All right, there's part 1. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.